Hello, I'm Deborah Quilter. Welcome to RSI Help YouTube. Have you ever felt like you had a really tight jaw and a really tight neck and really tight shoulders until you feel like you couldn't unglue yourself? There's a big connection between all of those things. The anatomy is very connected in the upper extremity and neck. So here to explain and sort of tease out these different areas is Dr. Nik Vizniak. He's a professor of anatomy. He's the founder of Pro Health Systems in Vancouver, an author of many books, a clinician, and a frequent guest here on RSI Help. So we were having a very interesting conversation about TMJ, and you were talking about all these connections. So can you recap it for us, Dr. Nik?
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me, Deborah. So a couple of key things to realize. Number one is your temporomandibular joint does become continuous with other structures into the neck and into your shoulder. If you want one prime example, you can look at a muscle called omohyoid, which Greek or Latin origin of the word is shoulder hyoid bone. It actually runs right up to here. And your hyoid bone has a whole bunch of muscles that connect up into the bottom of the mandible. So what happens is for a lot of people is where do we hold our stress? They hold it in their shoulders and they hold it in their jaw. Now you can see people, especially when they're clenching or they're having difficulty sleeping, they wind up floating down and you can see those masseters contracting like crazy. That's hard work on the jaw. That also carries forward into muscle spasm and reactive tension all the way through this region. They are all interconnected. The other thing that doesn't help, again, as we always talk about, Deborah, it seems like we always get back to this topic, is our posture. If I'm hunched down like this, working at my computer, this puts massive pressure, and it doesn't even feel like it, out to your jaw, out to your shoulders. So all of your biomechanics are off. And now it creates this, what we're calling repetitive strain type injuries from sitting at desks for prolonged periods of time.
You know, it makes sense to me that people would be protective of their neck just instinctively, because if you break your neck, so many bad things happen. And I think most human beings, you know, if they're carrying shoulder tension, it's a protective thing.
Absolutely.
But the jaw is a different thing. I mean, I wonder why people clench their teeth. Do you have any ideas about that?
There's lots of theories around the reasoning for clenching of your teeth. It is a normal physiologic response we see. There's something called Bruxism, or grinding of your teeth, where literally when you are asleep, your jaw is just grinding and pulling away there. And even all of this is just a physiologic response that we can see in humans to stress or perceived danger that's going to be occurring out there. I don't know the exact mechanism, the evolution behind it or anything like this, but it is a very common, whatever the cause is, we all do it when we're under stress. I can remember in school during exam times especially, I'd wake up and my jaw was just going like crazy. You're just like, whoa, I got to take a breath and start to work your way through this mandible a little bit, stretch it out, and just like anything else, explore the range. Open your mouth, close your mouth, go through your range, right? See what it can do, side to side, all that's a benefit.
So the way I'm understanding you is that if you clench your teeth, that I can actually feel my neck muscle tightening up in response, which in turn is sort of raising my shoulder a little bit.
Yep.
And these low level sustained contractions are really, they're one of the leading reasons for RSI.
You're absolutely right. And this is what a lot of people don't realize. They think when you sprain and strain muscles and ligaments, you've got to hit them hard and they tear really fast. No, you can load slow over time and have an additive effect that results in similar debilitation of the tissue. So your goal is, yes, there should be times of stress, but then that stress needs to be dropped off. But if you're sitting at a computer 20 minutes, 40 minutes, 2 hours, 3 hours, that is a long sustained posture. And we know the research is clear that has negative effects on your overall health.
So in terms of avoiding bruxism and TMJ, it sounds like it's almost a matter of being reminded. So if it's an unconscious habit, it's almost like you need to put a pop-up on your screen, are you grinding your teeth? Or something.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. A pop-up, those things are great, but ultimately what really has to happen for all of this lifestyle modifications that we want to make is the person has to make it a priority to initiate a different movement pattern in their day.
Yes. Yes. Thank you for saying that. We all need to make our health a priority.
Our job as healthcare providers is to motivate and inspire people to change habits with small micro and big differences in their overall health and ability.
Okay, well, that's a good piece of advice for us to listen to. Thank you so much for sharing that advice. A lot of times I say to people, you know, what could possibly be more important than taking care of the instrument that's getting you through daily life? And we're always in such agreement about that. So thank you, Dr. Nik, for coming on to the show. Thanks everybody for watching, and please subscribe.